So Ali, with the book club, it's on my website, The Great Light Garden, thegreatlightgarden.com. So The Great Light Garden. And we're looking into the Ascension Gospel of Peace. People pretend it's like a falsity because it was written in the 1900s, but actually it was found and translated into English from a text that the author, found in a monastery. One sec. Can you hear me now? Just testing if you can hear. Yes. Well done. Well done. Yes. Wow. hmm TikTok, you need to unmute yourself and then I think we're good. Yeah.
Mute myself or unmute myself?
Unmute.
Unmute? Okay, how
Yeah,
about now? Can you hear me now?
yeah, we'll just wait and see, but I believe that you are unmuted now.
Okay,
And
yeah.
turn your phone down as well.
Yeah, I got it.
Perfect.
All right, you guys can hear me good?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
What's up? Perfect. You did it. Okay, we got this next time. Wow. So let's
Yeah.
start all over. Yeah, I'm Rising Phoenix Aurora. I'm known as a spiritual revolutionist, a galactic historian, and oracle. I am an author. I am the founder of Aura Hypnosis Entity Removal, Past Life Regression, and many other modalities. And I am the founder of Rising Phoenix Mystery School. You can go to my website, risingphoenixaura.com and aurapractitioners.com. You might have heard of the aura practitioners all over the world, which actually, so it's aura, A-U-R-A, but Aura here is also an aura and raw Reiki practitioner. So make sure you guys sign up with her for a session. But yeah, and then I also have the books here, Lost Cities of Tartaria and Galactic Soul History of the Universe. So I am in honor and in awe to be here. We were talking about Aura was talking about how she had been watching my content, and I actually was watching her. Every now and then her videos would pop up and I would check her out, and I knew that she was really doing some powerful work over there, over the pond. I was always sending love because I don't know. I felt that she was reaching many of you over there and all over the world. So it is an honor to be co-hosting this video with you all under Reseeding Eden. So go to my website. But otherwise, let's get started. Aura, tell us a little bit about you, Aura.
Yeah, it's all just literally just beginning as well, this journey that we're on, and the amount of transformation that we're here to bring to the earth. So I'm Aura Zakara, if any of you guys haven't met me yet. I'm a spiritual teacher, really focus a lot on kind of spiritual health and the value of looking after the physical vessel that we're in, so that we can stay on this plane as long as we need to in a healthy way. So we've got the energy we need every single day to not only just enjoy life, but also to manifest good health, to stay balanced internally, to feel like we're charged up when we want to achieve things in life, or even just have the spiritual strength to protect ourselves. Because as you guys will all know, we're in a spiritual battle, we're in a spiritual war, really. And so a lot of you guys, most of you guys, if you're here, you probably are souls that came here to do this work. And so that's why we all really are here together, because we all match that energy. So I've been teaching online for the past few years, and just more recently I've been trained up as an aura hypnosis and raw Reiki certification. So that means that we can do past life regressions and do energy healing work, removing entities, negative technologies, nanotech, and there's a lot of different illnesses and patterns in people's lives that you can heal through this work as well. I was trained up by Aurora. She literally invented this with the help of her angels, her guides, her higher self, the divine mother, the divine father. It's really just a beautiful channel. And you guys will know I spoke about this last time, but I don't usually, I'm very picky with who I learn from and who I collab with, because it's important to me to work with those I know are truly like 100% of the light and from God, and actually teaching what I feel is the full truth, which is what I've found in Aurora. So that's why I'm so happy to have her on my TikTok and to have this connection with you, Aurora. And I am also being trained up in medical intuitive, so just like being able to, again, really a lot of like past life healing, multidimensional healing, because there's so much that can affect our lives from the subconscious, from our past lives. Like I've just recently done a guided meditation on myself and did some like healing work, and the patterns that are recognized in my life, so many patterns that came from this one core wound that I'd had in a past life. I was like, wow, I can't believe your past lives can affect you as much as they do. And so this work is so important, because if for some reason you feel like you've been stuck, if for some reason you have manifested illness or disease, or that you feel like you've got bad energy around you, or whatever it is, there's so much that can be done when you start to look into the energetic planes and really visualize and see, like, is there an attachment? Is there a negative cord? Is it people in your life, or is it past lives? And also Claire, who's in the chat as well, who's supporting us, she also is trained up as well. So so many powerful healers in the world, and it's needed, really. We need more and more people stepping into their true power, stepping into their true leadership. And that's what I love, and that's what I want to bring into my own work, is to inspire and assist those who are the leaders, those who want to reseed Eden, and those who want to actually make a big, powerful difference in their lives, because we all literally can. Our own internal power, the amount of shifts we can do just through our own choices, just through our own healing, is magnificent. It's beyond words. So we have that power within. Don't ever underestimate the power of your choices, really, because we all have so much more power than they want us to believe.
Yes, thank you. Wow, that's beautiful. Thank you for all.
You're muted on.
Yes. Thank you. That is so beautiful. Thank you for all the beauty that you share, and I love everything that you share, like on your channel, like, even down to like, combing your hair with some, natural products. I think you use more like wood. I use a bronze comb to comb my hair. It's simple things like that we don't realize, because like our body is, as we know, energetically, etherically, a astral body. I mean, we got all these different bodies that are connected to the one consciousness, and then the one consciousness actually is a crystal, and we are a crystal technically. Factually, we are liquid crystals. So if you do these things that, like something like, what Aura says, like combing your hair, you actually really are combing every single one of these strands is important. Just like Buddha with the little spirals on his head, it's telling you that there's basically your head is a portal. So it's got all these vortexes that you're connecting to the universe and the multiverse, really, and all that you are. And just like Aura is saying, it's like so important our thoughts and what we're consenting to sometimes, or not consenting to. And it's really we also, that the fact that we live within an existence of the existence, we are within an existence of the existence. So meaning that we are creating everything with our third eye. So if we are a crystal, down to the blood, the bones, everything that we are, and this is some of the courses that I teach, but and then what happens is that what crystals do is that they manifest and create. So even down to your brain, the doctors don't tell you have crystals in your third eye and in your DNA. Your DNA is factually crystals. It's a factual, when you're looking at your DNA, it's a mandala that keeps moving, and it's a morphine energetic crystal, and they look like mandalas. And they cannot even take a picture of the DNA factually, because what happens is that it's always shifting and moving like a kaleidoscope. So that is liquid crystal. Okay, your DNA is liquid crystal. So imagine that if you understand the true power of how you're a manifestor and creator, and your environment and what you're working with, and how you can heal beautifully, like Aura said, how you can heal anything. If you truly understand your power, that you were this crystal that could shift everything and heal yourself. But what happens is, like Aura was saying, those entities, those dark aliens, those entities that we talk about, In case you're new to our content, I have probably about 1,000 videos and on all my platforms of all the different content that I've been sharing. And it's not just my channeled information from Love Light, from Divine Mother, Father, Creator, Source of Light. It's also from many, many people all over the world that are saying the same things, like their higher selves are all saying the same things, yet we don't talk, they just meet me and then they share the same information. Or they'll share the same information from one side of the world to the other side of the world through our past life regressions, even our quantum galactic akashic readings. So it's just really beautiful how they're in direct communications. So
I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, because you guys may or may not know, but there's a lot of scientific studies that show that that prove that people can have shared dreams, and they actually both go to the same place, or they'll meet up in dream time, or say the astral realm. So like, have you had any experiences like that? Do you have any thoughts on kind of like what's going on when people are sharing dreams, and is it more common than you think, or?
Yes, it's actually more common than we actually think. A lot of people don't remember their dreams. And it's hard because like your brain is brain waves, right? So brain waves like this, it's called a wave because you're in and out of different brain waves, and there's different levels, different levels of brain waves. So it's like a ladder, like a hill. You visualize like a hill, and all these different brain waves are different octaves of the different brain activities that you're going through. Okay, so what happens is that you're in the, more alpha beta when you're awake, right? Then you're in the theta. The theta is where we teach you how you can be consciously in the theta brainwave. And that is a bridge between the spirit realm and the physical realm, right? But then you're in the delta, and that's what you're talking about, the delta brainwave. The delta brainwave is basically you're asleep, you're unconscious, you're no longer in the body, and you go in here, you go into your third eye, your brain, and the universe and multiverse exists here. All the neurons inside your brain that are lighting up like electricity are transferring, and really you're teleporting through your brain. Why your body is so important. This is why, again, I love what Aura tells you to take care of your body, because if you eat good, like she teaches eating vegan, raw. I'm not full raw. I'm raw. I mean like half and so on, but I'm vegan. And taking care of the aura and all the beautiful things that she teaches, like grounding and everything. Those things will level you up enough to start then connecting into your third eye. And then that probably goes into more of the courses that we go into. So then you go into the consciousness, and then these delta brainwaves, and then you're in there. So dreams could be many things. You can meet up together, especially as a collective, if you are working together on a timeline. That happens a lot. If you and your higher self forms collectively, you don't realize it, you don't remember it again, because the shift is big from delta sleep to waking up. So it's like it becomes the dream and it just kind of like goes away. So, it could be you're working on changing timelines. Like sometimes I'll make a video where I talk about something and people are like, oh yeah, I was there, I was doing that, I saw that too. Oh, it's so interesting you're making a video on that, So because technically our higher selves are unifying together, like in a higher self connection where there's no like ego, no AI, none of that. The higher selves are pure love light. And then when you connect like that, it's like, okay, all right, when we're sleeping, we're doing a lot of work. It's game time. Let's go. What do we have to do? And it's like the little tiny body is like here, the little human body is like freaking out all the time. And then you come out of your body and you're like gigantic. I mean, you could like reach the crystalline dome above us, like how gigantic your soul is, really. And then the little you is like, freaking out. And then it's like, oh my God, if you realize how big you are. It's just, it'd be incredible if you realize, and that's what we've been teaching through Rising Phoenix Aura. How, like, my role is to help you step into your power, and which Aura is doing as well. Into your being. So yes, so there's that. There's the collective memory, but then there's also negative technologies that I've talked about in the past. That if you're not surrounding yourself with love light, they're basically machines, technology, AI that they can mess with your dreams. They could give you false visions. They could give you false information. They could also be siphoning your energy while you're sleeping. And it's about like removing yourself from these matrix artificial kind of simulations, and definitely not consenting when you're sleeping to any inversion. So that's something like it's so simple. You just set that intention, like hey, I don't consent to any AI, negative technology, whatever, infringing on me during my sleep. Only the true, dreams. Yeah.
And people talk about going to dream schools as well, like learning different things. It's interesting because before I woke up, my passion and what I thought was my purpose was being like a musician, a singer-songwriter was my thing before I woke up, and then felt like my calling was more on a spiritual path. But I used to go to like music school every evening in dream time. I'd be like writing songs with people, I'd be making music with people, like always performing in this music school in dream time. And then as I ended up waking up, then I was going to like magic schools. I was flying on broomsticks, practicing spells and like playing with dragons and stuff. It was really interesting, but I almost feel like whatever you choose to pursue in life, you can then go to realms or places within the dream world where you can actually expand on your wisdom, your knowledge and experience through dream time, rather than having it all have to be physical, which is really fun, obviously, because dreams can be so fun. Like you said, they also can be infiltrated. And before I started shielding, my dreams were getting very much infiltrated. It's almost like when I started sharing and becoming a bit more like having a bit more of a following online, you do naturally end up getting a bit more targeted because you've just got more eyes on you, really. But the shields have been great for me, and setting that intention every time you go to bed. Do you have any ideas or any things you could share with people about how to start remembering your dreams more when you wake up?
Well, it's setting the intention. So like if you could visualize there's sacred geometry that we teach us, like the alchemy. So there's natural alchemy inside your DNA. So if you talk to the alchemy inside the DNA, which is the crystal, which are the crystals, what happens is that in your crystalline body, and then will ensure that you start remembering. But you also have to become the highest vibratory match to remembering your dreams when you quickly go from delta into awakening stages. So that's something you start off with, is start setting intentions. I remember my dreams when I wake up. I will not forget any details, and it begins with that, and then just being patient with yourself, because it is hard, again, from going so rapid from different realms. I would try to like wake up as smoothly as possible. Sometimes if you wake up, like if you have an alarm, I know it's kind of hard though. If you don't have an alarm, how are you going to wake up on time? Yeah. But the alarm will kind of startle you too quick, and then you kind of lose the dream. So maybe setting an intention that asking your divine team, and it's really incredible. Y'all start doing it. Say it like, wake me up right before my alarm's going to go off. And then, you're like, oh no, I lost 5 minutes of sleep. But those 5 minutes of sleep right before your alarm goes off, say, will help you retain the dream. And then it won't fade quickly. It will stay there. And then you'll just lay there for a couple minutes in your bed, keep recall it. Some people even you could write your dreams down so you don't forget any details. So that's the best thing, is that so that the brainwaves don't rapidly go, because when you just wake up and say you don't wake up rapidly to an alarm, you're technically still in the theta brainwave, in the in between. So you can still get your information then before you shift out into it. Instead, oh my God, I gotta go, make breakfast for the kids and, so on, go to work. Yeah.
I started doing that as well, like writing them down first. And I found that when you first wake up, you have like a memory of maybe someone in the dream or just a small thing that happened. But the minute you start to pull it through and start writing it down, or even voice recording it, it's like then it's like you pulled on a string and suddenly it comes flowing through. But you just get that little small piece down that you remember, and then it starts to like unfold. And I found the same with when I'm like channeling my angels or my spirit guides or just trying to receive information, sometimes I'm like, I get a little small piece of information and I'm like, I want more before I tell the person in front of me what I've perceived. But then it's like, just to say it out loud, because the next part will come. But it's almost like you can sometimes get drip fed the information.
You can't, sometimes you read it wrong. You're like, you're trying to decipher your dream and you're like, man, I read that wrong.
Yeah.
But you have to go through it. You know, you go through it and then you're like, wow, this really meant something else.
Yeah. And it's the same even when you're receiving any kind of information. Is you have to really learn discernment, don't you? Because unless you've actually set the intention again and really been practice your shields and stuff, it could be quite easy, especially if you're new, to just receive everything and believe it's truth because you're excited that your gifts are like working, you're excited you're receiving information. So it's very easy to just hold on to that and be like, wow, I've heard some messages from my angels, it's all really true. But it's about eventually getting to this point where you can learn, okay, take everything with a pinch of salt, see how it feels, like tune into the energy of who or what is coming through and speaking to you, and just practicing really, I think, but also not allowing doubt to instantly just block it and, stop the messages from coming through, if that makes sense.
Yes. Yeah. Also, it's quite incredible if you start, like, so I teach, there's a Mayan course I teach, and everything that you're creating, say, when we're talking about dreams, you energetically have to create it in dream time in the delta brainwave, so you think it out the entire day. So some people have like deja vu, or they're like, oh, they dreamt of their whole day, what's going to happen, And it's because technically, energetically, you have to create your dream before you wake. Well, you have to create the day, the energy of the day. And then that's how you can sometimes shift negative timelines out. And then once you wake up, you've already created the day. You already kind of came up with, okay, I might run into this obstacle. I'm going to change it if it's inverted and I don't consent to it, or I'm going to, go this way instead of that way. So, becoming really kind of like a powerful, weaving through your dreams and realizing that when you're sleeping, you're creating the day that's about to happen. You understand?
Right.
So it's pretty big to know that, because again, that becomes helps us be walking consciously, walking on earth, awake, alert, knowing that we are that powerful creators. And then also realizing that whatever you're, agreeing to, whether you're watching something or listening to something and you believe it, say, they tell you, oh yeah, let's come chat with me and we're gonna, go, do whatever, like, let's just make up something ridiculous. Let me see. Go into a military base together, remote viewing. I've heard some crazy stuff like that. Like people claiming that they're remote viewing and that they're going to put their whole entire audience in a military, like, let's all go in with our third eyes. No, don't do that. That is insane. So I've had clients like that. And then what happens is that, that becomes a part of the reality. And actually, because they have all those technologies that Aura talks a lot about, and so do I, is like they can view you, like, that Sophia AI bot, they're like part organic, part artificial. So they can see you when you're in your astral form. So you need to be very shielded. And so do not consent to stuff like that. Remember, it's also really important that you stay very, very positive and highest vibration, especially not just for yourself, but also your loved ones, your animal companions, your family, your children, because whatever you're creating and whoever you're listening to, it is rippling out to them. That's just the way it works. Like I explained from the beginning of this video.
Yeah 1,000%. One of the things you've actually shared as well, because I know you guys, Aurora mentioned it at the beginning of this call, but Aurora's written a book of channeled information on the lost cities of Tartaria. Really, you've channeled both remote viewing the inner, like the North Pole, what lies beyond the North Pole, and then also what lies beyond Antarctica, which is really interesting for me. The book is called The Lost Cities of Tartaria, isn't it? Do you want to just show that on TikTok? So that's available on Amazon and Barnes and Noble, which I had no idea what that was. I was like, searched it up and I was like, that's like a literal like massive department store. Like you've done so well getting your content into stuff like that. So but yeah, you even mentioned with remote viewing Antarctica, you said don't go there unless you're fully shielded because you need to be protected, and there are military bases on the edges of the ice wall guarding, and you have to be a matching vibration to actually go to these different places as well. So it's safer to get the experience first before you go and remote view crazy areas, really.
Yeah, because if you know, if you're jumping into things like that without, say, proper force fields of love light that are shielding you, that are making you invisible to something that means ill intent or is parasitic in the astral realm, then basically they can't see you. And yeah, you don't want to be, you know, fighting anything you don't want to fight. I always say, I'm not here to fight these AI Archon battles. I'm here to end them, you know. And so this is how we end them, is by becoming wise, you know, sovereign, being strong in what we decide upon, and you know, allow to become part of our reality. Yeah. So incredible. Make sure you guys add your questions there to Rumble and TikTok. We're keeping note of them. Yeah.
Did you?
Something really cool. I saw like a video. I didn't quite see it, but I believe you were talking. I saw it briefly. Like you were talking about like Mercury and how they used to use mirrors as Mercury.
Yeah,
that's pretty amazing because I teach about Mercury. So what do you have to share about that?
Yeah, in Tartaria, and you guys know they had a lot of advanced technology, and I've even been to different museums and have seen cutlery that was made of like crystal handles with spiral metal. Like the handles were spiralized and they're made of different precious metals. So they would use different cutlery to charge their food up whilst they was eating it, just literally through the crystals and the metals. But with Mercury, they used to have Mercury-backed mirrors, and the metal Mercury, it's known as one of the 7 magic metals because there's 7 main gods or luminaries. I say main, but it's more just on the earth plane. We have these 7 rays, like the 7 days of the week or the 7 chakras, and this number 7 is quite a common number on the earth. And the 7 main gods, or the 7 luminaries in the sky, the visible luminaries we can see from Earth, govern these 7 rays of the septenary, which is 7 days of the week. And they each have like a precious crystal, they have a color, they have a metal, and all of the manifestations of those energies are just crystallizations of that light. So the metal gold is a crystallization of the sun. The metal Mercury is a crystallization of Mercury, who is an energy, obviously one of the higher lights in the heavens. So the metal Mercury is a powerful metal and it amplifies light by 11. So when you look into Mercury mirror, it basically gives you your light back because you're looking at yourself in the mirror. So your light's coming from your eyes into the mirror and being charged by the Mercury light and being reflected back. You're receiving it through your own eyes again, but it's been amplified by the light of Mercury. So it really, really charges you up. But it's almost like it activates you as well, because the god Mercury is known for communication, but also magic as well, I believe. So for me, I found it to almost be like its own initiation into magic is working with Mercury. And they tell you to avoid it, don't they? Because they say it's dangerous. Maybe it is. But I have a feeling that they tell us it's dangerous, so we avoid it. And we avoid getting those DNA activations and stuff.
Yeah, I love everything you said. I think that, technically, in a scientific level, it is only dangerous if you use aluminum. So aluminum, I don't know if you've ever seen the reaction with mercury and aluminum. It turns into the aluminum. So the mercury sucks it up, and it turns into like this like white kind of basically toxic poisonous powder.
Right.
But otherwise, you're good. You're good. You could touch it. You know, I wouldn't say you intake it and swallow it and stuff, but it is actually very powerfully healing, like Aura was saying. But what's the problem is that if they put the mercury inside your teeth or so on, and they're always spraying you with aluminum in the food, in the chemtrails. So if that happens, then you're intaking that, and then that toxic is mixing with the mercury in you, So, but mercury, did you know factually, you all, that they needed mercury mirrors? By watching this video, I heard Divine Mother told me this, that they needed the mercury mirrors because they were more of a fourth dimensional being. You wouldn't be able to see yourself in a more physical 3-dimensional mirror like we are in the 3D now, because they were fourth dimensional, so they needed more crystalline to see themselves fourth dimensionally higher.
That's cool.
That's cool, right?
Yeah.
Because when you look at mercury, it has no reflection, right, in the mirror, because the mirror is not a vibratory match to the mercury. The mercury is too high of a kind of pure light. So then it's not going to show a reflection in a physical 3D mirror. Yeah. Because it's the physical mirror basically cannot see its crystalline form, and then there's no reflection. Yeah.
It's really interesting because there's something here, but I'm not sure what it is yet. But you know how you can't see, vampires supposedly can't see themselves in mirrors. It makes me wonder, maybe they're of a lower frequency where they can't even see themselves in our normal mirrors, and it's like they just go down and down in frequency or something.
Back then when they made that, wasn't it back then when they probably had mercury mirrors, which means that they were too dense, like 3D, the vampires, so they technically couldn't see themselves in the mercury mirror because the vampires were too dense to be a vibratory match to the crystalline mercury mirror.
Yeah. And if it was to amplify the light and they received that light through their eyes, that would just probably burn them, it would transmute them surely out of existence. So that's why they avoid the actual sun, because they can't be in the light, and so they probably wouldn't even dare look into a mirror to receive that light, because it would harm them. Don't they also, this, I know it's like there's a lot of kind of, it comes from movies, this, we don't possibly really know, I've never met a vampire to truly know this, but they also say, I think, that is it silver bullets kill them as well, and the metal silver is of the divine feminine of the moon. It makes me wonder whether that again is some kind of amplifies the light and destroys their soul, or pulls them. Because the divine feminine receives, maybe it portals their soul out of the vessel somewhere else.
Yes, I mean, that is accurate. The werewolves were the ones with the silver, I believe.
Is it?
And because gold is the sun, and silver is the moon energy. So if they're a werewolf, which I talk about these supernatural entities and how to even assist them, because we've run into them. Yeah. The more and more I talk to people, these things are not make-believe. Those grim stories that perhaps where we're getting this information from, the grim stories, those are factual stories. They're not made up stories. They're, data that was from the time space of the fall of Atlantis, and the artificial AI was spreading, and there were grims that would walk around and protect villages and would fight against these supernatural entities that now hide, in different dark places, and they pretend that they're not there, but they are. But, as the world is getting lighter, these entities are hopefully, the hopes is always for them to positive polarize, or to not be a vibratory match to Earth, which is why entity removal is so powerful, to get rid of the entities and heal Mother Earth, so that we can keep raising in vibration, and then doing that for ourselves too, right? So the silver would be very powerful like that. Let me think for a minute. So it's so the way that you can picture is gold and silver. It's gold. If you were to put the sun's energy into an element that you could physically hold, that would be gold. Yeah. And if you were to put the essence of Divine Mother, Grandmother Moon's essence into a formation, that would be the silver. So together, they're a powerful team for us.
Yeah. And gold, because it is the divine, it's got a masculine charge. It can protect you more, and then silver can help you receive more. I find it interesting, all of this stuff, but one of the things that I learned recently, I don't know how true it is, but the original werewolf, the first one, was turned against their will, and they never wanted to be like that. They got turned
That's
by
true.
the night. And now, so I think that's where the vampire versus werewolves came from, because they are actually against each other. I think possibly the night are vampires, and they turned whoever it was first into a werewolf, possibly through genetic manipulation and stuff.
Yeah, I think genetic manipulation for sure, but it began with a curse. So a dark curse that, and what happens is that, yeah, so somehow they're kind of like a hybrid. Yeah, it feels like it began in Atlantis. They must have mixed like dog DNA with human DNA, because they were doing that, you all, back then, right, in Chimera times. And then in times of after the fall of Atlantis, so the like Chimera, yeah, and then that curse remained, and if looks like some kind of like super, like a skinwalker, dark witch did that too. And I also see like a village that was turned like that against their own will.
Yeah.
So what's happening though with the moon is that every full moon she's trying to pull out the curse out of them, because what does the full moon do? The moon pulls, she brings all water and everything to her, even inversions. She's a very powerful healer. Anything that's attached, she could pull it out and magnetize it magnetically towards her. So it's like she's trying to pull that out of them. I went to Hawaii. Actually, we did run into werewolves there. That it was a long story there, but I mean, Cursed Lands, Cursed Gods is a video that you guys can watch to explain the werewolves there. That seem to be now positive polarized, but it is, and so with them, it turned out that they were actually guarding these very green sand lands, that, so they were protecting, and they turned into these werewolves, because they're the guardians of the night. The wolves are, right? And then I guess a little bit like Twilight, if anybody ever watched Twilight. So you did, yeah, and that's the thing. That's very much real. People talk to me from about all these kind of things, and I've personally seen them. I've seen them, running into the forest. I have my invisibility cloak; they can't see me, and I've seen them in physical form. Like they turn and they're like happily running into the forest on a full moon. You know, so yeah.
Wow.
I've had children talk to me about them. Children are the most gifted. They tell me about all these monsters that they're seeing that no one believes them. And what I teach the children is that you are spot on, and don't close off your abilities. You're seeing the truth of what's the adult mind that is so dense sometimes and doesn't understand to see the in between, what's hidden in the shadows and so on. So the children know the truth.
And how, as a parent, can you protect your children from like negative entities and energies?
Yeah, so teaching them is something very simple, like little tiny babies, is like start teaching them that how powerful their hands are. Their hands have all the energy, the chakra points, and technically, if we think about it like a human anatomy, because again, I teach human anatomy, but the nervous system basically is also unified with your neurons. The little lightning, right, that goes off in your brain that creates electricity through your whole body and runs through the electricity. And then, so if you teach them how to use that, like this etheric electricity is running through them that keeps them alive. You need the electricity running through you, just like trees. Everything has electricity running through them. So electricity, you could say, is like the essence of God running through you that gives you life force. Right, because if there's no more electricity, your heart's gonna stop. Like you're leaving your body at that point. So and what was your question? What did you say?
We're protecting your children.
Oh, protecting your children. So if you teach them how to rub their hands, their little hands, and all that electricity, it's just so simple. Make a little bubble. Tell them to make a little bubble, and then start teaching your children everything you know, like that you could talk to the plants, the trees, you know, the land, and ask your children questions. They're waiting for you to ask them questions. Tell them, like, what do you think about, you know, this tree, you know, this rock? You think if it could talk, like, what would it say? And actually they have a lot of history, and the kids will tell you. In this whole time, you think that the kids are they're in make-believe. You all, it's not make-believe. They're telling you the truth. And it's your job as a parent, as a role, to hear their story and realize that they're telling you a real story, not one that they made up. So it's time to really honor the children and allow for them, their speech and their voices, their little tiny selves, to be heard.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, honoring them and teaching them everything.
And it's really cute because if you have animals as well, 9 times out of 10, probably 10 times out of 10, when that child came through, it's been talking and communicating with all the animals in the house telepathically. Even in the womb, animals can speak to babies. You see videos of dogs like nuzzling like a pregnant stomach, and it's like they already know, like they've already met the soul. Like it's really cute to see all that kind of stuff. And if a child's too young to learn this stuff, you have authority as their parent to do their shields for them and protect them with spells and light, don't you, as well?
Absolutely. I think one of the biggest things, like with a gifted child who is really empathic and sensitive and seeing these things, and they're freaking out, they don't want to sleep alone in their bedroom, you know, they're seeing things under the bed and their closet. They're seeing that because there is something there. You gotta listen to them. It could be a dark portal that's, you know, something, you know, ethereally is coming in, you know, through the astral realm, to that space. So yeah, just kind of helping them feel safe. It's not just a physical we're in, you all. We are also we really are spirits in these illusional bodies waiting to ascend out. So then you got to pay attention to what they're seeing in the true essence of the spirit. The spirit is the true essence of everything.
Yeah. And it's just reminded of when you were talking about how your dream can sort out the energy for the upcoming ray. This, I feel like, could be why they attack so much in dreams, or at least when you're sleeping, because I found that, like, when I'm up and about and I'm grounded to the floor and I'm full awareness, I don't get attacked that much. But when I like lie down and my feet are up and I'm not grounded anymore and I'm just in bed, it's like they try and target you when you're in your weak or in your vulnerable state, and especially when you're half unconscious, then they'll try and like target you and drain your energy. So it makes me wonder whether they try and do that and target you in dream time to purposely try and ruin the energy for your next ray if you weren't able to wake up and sort that out. Because I have to wake up sometimes and just like delete like the energy, shake it off, do whatever I need to do the AM routine, and suddenly it's all gone. But it is always like waking up and feeling like, gosh, in the evening they've clearly been trying to drain my energy because I feel groggy and I shouldn't feel this way when I wake up.
Yeah, that's tough because also like you got to work on the lands too. Like if there's anything attached in the lands, you could also be feeling that. We're so incredibly powerful. I mean, the human kind has yet to tap into its true power by the indoctrination and the programming in all ways that we already know. If you truly like start tapping into that energy, then you realize that you can shift it out. So maybe like so what makes you feel grounded? Like, you know, what if you do something like your staff? I have my staff here.
Yes.
So what if you put your staff next to you where you're laying?
Yeah.
What if you like put like what's a really grounding crystal, your favorite grounding crystal? What if you etherically, energetically put that in your feet when you're laying down? So you're still magnetically, energetically grounded. Like the energy's still coming out. Like sometimes I host retreats. So like when we're hiking, for the most everybody's pretty not clumsy, but sometimes people trip, and I tell them feel your feet grounded to the ground, put some black tourmaline energetically, etherically in your feet so that you could be grounded. So then, so I could understand your perspective. Like if you're horizontal, how do you ground if you're not like this, like an antenna? So let's talk about it like a science, right? Like if you're not an antenna, you're not grounded like that, you're kind of floating. You're floating in the in-between at that point. So then, so change that around by some of what I mentioned. And
Yeah, I have noticed as well the different directions of sleep. If my head's facing north or my head's facing south or whatever it is, that makes a difference as well, because the directions, the energy currents and flows, they're flowing. I think that they flow east to west the same as the sun does. I think that's how the energy flows. And so like you can flow and lay with your head, say, to the east, and then the energy's coming down through your head and through your feet, or you could go the other way, or try different ways where you can align yourself to the flow of the earth and see if that makes a difference as well.
Yes. Also, we teach, right, like the flower of life and the lotus flower. So with the lotus flower, we teach the 12 petal lotus flower. What if you like put all the energy in your space, in your territory, in at least a 12 directions, or you could do 16 directions, like those compasses that we see in the old maps, right? Put that energetic field so that, and then you float, it's floating like in the creational waters that we all are floating in.
Yeah.
And then it just can move in whichever direction, and you tell your higher self you can move like a compass, you know?
Okay, yeah.
Right? So to higher self, you know, this is what I have going on right now.
Yeah.
Let's put that there so that I can, you know, recalibrate and realign whenever I need to.
That's really cool. Because it reminds me as well that it seems to be easier for them to plug into your back chakras than the front, because you can just kind of like defend yourself here, but behind you it's like trying to reach and cleanse your chakras. I think that's why they used to have like, say, swords or like wands down the back, because it would just cover every single chakra with a metal, a reflective material to reflect the negative back. But then if you had that where you're like, higher self, swivel me round. If someone's attacking me from behind, swivel me energetically so that I can always, you know. And I think that's why it's great to have a divine partner, a twin, or like a partner on this plane, because it's like you can stand back to back and you can both like support and cover each other's backs, if you will.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, when you find your twin flame and, you know, you're whole. Quantumly, through like quantum physics, you are, say, only half potential energetically in the physical form. Without them, once you do find them, you then are at your 100% together because you're complete. And but till then, you can still be very strong, but you would be connecting to them from the ether, from the higher realm. But there is nothing that any twin flame union cannot do. I mean, they're powerful. Yeah.
Did you see the video of that white lynx that showed up in Spain? There's like this white cat that showed up, and it's a lynx, but I think they've never seen one in existence, and now it's just showed up, and it's just absolutely so stunning. And I watched a video, and you know when cats close their eyes and they are saying like, I love you, and they close their eyes, it was doing that. And I watched the video, and honestly it activated my heart chakra like you won't even believe. I've put it in our shared document if you wanted to show the people on Rumble the video or the photo, but it was so beautiful. And this cat, I genuinely feel, is like from one of the higher planes, and the way it looks at you in its eyes is just so beautiful. I could even share it on. You gave
access to Claire to watch chat for you?
Yeah, I put it in our document, but I can actually share my screen on our Zoom call.
Okay.
And show you.
So she has access to keep track of your chat.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, cats are quite magical.
I'm gonna just show. I'll send a request to you if I can share on Rumble, guys. If you've seen it or not, on just search like white lynx in Spain. It was so nice. This is the cat. And then I'll share like
oh sweet,
a video of it. And I'll get the video up one sec. So people are saying they've never seen this cat before. When I watched the video, I couldn't believe like the way that it activated my heart. It was so almost like a little bit overwhelming. It was like, wow, this is like a majestic being.
For sure. A lot of these cats that you see are not really cats sometimes. You know, elven beings in a cat form showing themselves.
Yeah.
Like the animals can't, like the magical creatures or the magical beings can't always show themselves in their form for the most. Right. They can't, because we're in the, you know, high 3D right now. So once we get closer to 4D, we'll be able to see more. Oh, let's see.
Yeah.
Oh my God. He is cool.
Yeah.
This feels like a spirit guide from wherever he's at, like a
In
spirit
Spain.
guardian, you know. And
Beautiful.
something that they've been talking about since last year with the different clients with their past life regressions is that there's going to be new animals that we thought were extinct or we never saw before coming back. I've heard some people say like, oh, there was this butterfly been extinct for decades and now they're seeing it, you know?
Yeah.
So, there's something very divine about that being.
Yeah.
So something we also run into is when you're healing the land, what happens is that the animals show themselves. And it'll be it's not like a normal animal interaction. You see there's high intelligence in that cat.
Yeah.
It is like there's a being in there that's very big and they're showing themselves, through the way that they can.
And it's a nice positive thing because there's a lot that's going on in the world that seems like it could really bring you down and make you think, wow, are we actually ascending or what's going on? Because there's times where you go, wow, like, is it going to get worse still before it gets better? But to see signs like that, you go, okay, this is literally just showing us that the energy is shifting, it is changing, like just chill. Keep yourself protected, keep yourself intelligent and safe, but like just trust really in the divine and really trust that God, the divine creator, divine mother and father has full control over everything. Like we don't really need to stress really with what's going on, even though it's very hard and a lot of people are suffering, but the best we can do is just keep sending love. Like you have a little chart actually every hour of the ray, you have send love to the children, then next one send love to the animals, and that's a really nice thing. Do you want to share what that is if you have it?
Yes, I love that. And then someone was saying about there's no such thing as twin flames when we were talking about twin flames.
Right.
Factually, quantumly, you are quantum entangled with your twin flame. You know, so if you are a female and the masculine in you, that every single, ancient teachings that you could look into teaches how you have the feminine and the masculine in you. Factually, for example, me, as a female, my masculine inside of me is my twin flame. So how could that be non-existent? Same for male. The divine feminine within you is the female, is your twin flame, that's talking, that's one with you energetically, always one with you in your consciousness, in your heart. So you cannot be quantum entangled. If you understand quantum physics, once energetically, you could look at it as in two toroidal spheres or like a black hole, which has a black hole has two openings through quantum physics. It has an opening at the top and an opening at the bottom. Okay, so that can never be quantum untangled because they're unified. Also, when the soul is created, you're created from the same flame of source, and you split off the flame. So it's a magnet that can't be unmagnetized.
It's funny when you do meet the twin because maybe before you meet them you're like, wow, it must be so amazing, and it is, but I found a lot of challenges at first because of my own self, like the amount of stuff that it showed me I needed to heal and work on. And it was it could have been easier to have been with someone else, but for me it was like he ended up being one of my biggest teachers really, and I love him so much for the fact that he is why I am the way I am, and how far I've come from when I was really full of ego, wanting to be a famous singer songwriter, and all I cared about was being on stage. And I know that there's bigger things to concern yourself with in the world, but it's almost it's such a blessing, but also isn't always the easiest route you can choose, but it's the quickest for your transformation, your healing, and then also getting to what you're meant to be doing on earth, which is working together as a beautiful team to bring the two energies and create what needs to be created, really.
Yes. So if you think, so here's an image I found, when you're taking pictures, this Look at that. That's incredible. I mean, you can't make this up, right?
That's really
It's
cool.
light coming, reflecting out from the tree. And this is in the Sequoia National Park.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm talking about. Like this symbol here, this is what a twin flame looks like energetically. You see that? So it is two, the toroidal, like the donut shape that's at the top, both top and bottom. This cannot be separated. You cannot separate the quantum entanglement of that, okay? So you'll see that often when you're taking pictures. I especially started seeing it after June this year a lot through the trees echoing out. So yeah, it's pretty amazing, huh? It's
Really
very
cool.
beautiful. Yeah. So one cannot exist without the other.
Shall we answer? Because I know we've had loads of questions, and I know we could chat for ages, but I don't want people to be waiting on their questions. If you want to have a little look and see if there's any we can answer for people.
Yeah, let's look at that now, and then let me just share the times that you had asked for times in case anybody wants to join us. You can find these times under my website. I gotta think about which article that is that I wrote. I think it's a light language. I think the deer, journey with the deer in the forest. And I wrote that there. So yeah, so that's 10:10, you send love to your past and your future selves. 11:11, send love to self. 12:12, send love to all planets and life that require in the universe. This is a big one because you often always ask for love for you to get help, but you forget to send love to the universe.
Yeah.
And when you start doing that, wow, the self-love and the way that the universe assists you it's infinite. So then we have 1:11, 13th hour, which we send love to the earth and all the people, plants and animals. 2:22, send love to your beloved ones. 3:33, send love to your dreams and aspirations for their future and manifestation. 4:44, send love to the new world order to transmute it. Now, the reason people usually have an issue with it, like, I'm not going to send love to the bad guys. The only way to assist the bad guys out of where they're at is by sending them love, because love, they can't fight against love. You're going to be butting heads with them forever, sword fighting, whatever, guns, tanks. But if you send them love and you transform them into being positive, then you stop fighting them, right? The whole thing again, not here to fight these AI Archon battles, I'm here to end them. So then there's 555, send love to the children of earth and creation.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So do you want to read out some of the questions, or you want?
Yeah, let me just have a little look at what's been asked.
Yes.
Okay. So questions. First one. Do you feel that Candace Owens' research into Charlie Kirk's passing is accurate, that the fake Jews had infiltrated Turning Point USA and was killed due to his views of no longer supporting Israel?
Yes. Yes, I do agree that it is accurate. I had a video that I recently did, which was, I'm trying to remember what it is, but we'll add it there for you. And it is accurate. There's fake Jews. I'm actually in the middle of discovering the truth about Adolf Hitler. And the more that I go into that, the more that I start meeting people from that time space or directly after that, or actual Germans that are living there and what's been done to them. Did you know that you can't say anything in Germany whatsoever? Even if you try to question anything, you have to be very specific, or they'll come and arrest you, and you won't ever be seen again. You definitely cannot question what happened with what they taught us here in America. I don't know what did they teach you guys there, but in America they taught us that Hitler killed all the Jews. This is what they taught us in the schools. Is that what they taught you guys there?
Yeah, same thing really.
Yeah. So it's interesting. So I was talking to a man recently. Actually, I was traveling just within the last week, and he was German descent. And I was telling him, hey, did you know that this is what they teach us? He's like, no. He said, that can't even be. There's no way that one man could have done it. He said, it's just not even possible. And then at the same time, I have an aura session that's coming out of a man from Germany. You all get ready for that one. He's going to tell you the truth of why you won't hear it from their grandma and grandmothers and children and grandchildren, they can't talk about it because you can't even talk about it among your own family because you'll be arrested. That's
Crazy.
facts. Yeah, so that's how oppressed they are, and they've been turned into the bad guy. So I've been finding documents where the people who were there in this Auschwitz or any of these camps that they claim, that they said that actually they were helping them. And I have the insider from Germany, like, you know, showing me the different data that we haven't seen because they took it away from us. So it's a very interesting topic to know that. So it basically was happening at that time space. It was you know how it was happening here in Palestine? The Jewish in the Palestine were being targeted. That's the same thing that happened then, and the Jewish have been the target since Yeshua ascending out because they're the descendants of Yeshua, and they keep targeting them. And he's according to the Germans that I talked to, that you know that they couldn't, you know, they couldn't get in trouble because they were only talking to me, and I'm not, you know, I don't live in Germany. They said that it was many other countries that were doing it, and actually they said that Hitler was trying to save them. And I'm not making this up. I found the books and the data and the articles. I have pictures. I have it all. It's just crazy how much indoctrinated we've been to their agenda of who they want us to hate. And I don't know about you all. No one tells me who I'm going to hate, and I don't hate anyone, period. So I'm going to listen to the people who know the truth, who lived through it, you know, and survived it. Yeah. So that's interesting. That's a topic that I'm going into with that. It's the fake Jews that Candace Owens is talking about. Yeah. Those are the fake Jews that did all of that. And Japan and Germany were not listening. If you look at your history, they weren't listening. They weren't following in line. They weren't turning against their own people. So they targeted Japan. And that's a long story with the Hiroshima, right? What happened there? We know what happened there. Then also Pearl Harbor, which was actually, I covered the Philadelphia experiment through my extrasensitive series. Pearl Harbor that happened in Hawaii was a target to Lemuria, one, but then also it was also a inside job. The same thing like 9/11 you hear, like all this, you know, false agendas to turn people against each other. So if they did not listen to them, like Germany or Japan, they became the main target, that they turned the world against them. You understand? And we see this. I mean, we see this every day. Like if you're in a group and someone doesn't like you, and because you're too much light, they're going to target you. Yeah. It's the same kind of thing. These entities, that's what they do.
I've been seeing a lot of videos coming up myself on socials sharing these different types of truths. And one of the things that I did see from a different interview Candace has done, she was talking about that after the Holocaust happened, or whatever it was, that actually the Germans were fully targeted and they were actually killed in maybe even the millions, like Christian Germans or something, for even like speaking or thinking about it. So no wonder they don't want to now, because they were actually, I think they were mass drowned in big like rivers, and like they were really, really shunned. And that's like a fear trauma tactic to make everyone hush about it. Don't even bring it up, otherwise you will you'll get harmed. So
that's accurate. That's what I've been told by many other Germans I've talked to, and the Germans are indoctrinated to hate themselves. That's what I hear from every single German.
Yeah,
you can love everyone else but yourself or your country or the fact that you're German. If you love your country as being German, like you love your heritage, you love, you know, your land, you will be classified as a Nazi. Yeah, you cannot. It's similar like here in America. If you are, you know, pro-America, making America great again, you know, the ones that are compromised say that you are, you know, a hater and so on because you love your land and your country, which is, as we know, I mean, it's pretty obvious that's false.
Yeah. So next question is, I have a question for either of you. Is high vibrational diet important? If so, what are your go-to meals or foods for this? Shall I do this one? Yeah,
You could do it.
yeah.
My diet consists of a lot of jasmine rice and beans
Yeah, like what
and
I
salads, you know.
yeah, fresh fruit and vegetables. Everyone grows up knowing eat your fresh fruit and vegetables, it's healthy for you. But the reason being is because it's literally grown from the earth, filled with the life force energy of the sun. This is what happens with plants. There's actually, I was going to read, I'm doing like a book club to read the Essene Gospel of Peace. And the reason why I wanted to share it is because I started reading it myself. And I was just like eating my salad. I started reading it, and I was like, "Oh my, like God, like this is just so amazing. I need to do it with, like, read this with other people and show them, hey, this means this. Look at these truths that was going on back when the Essenes were around." But there's a really beautiful way that they describe like raw food, and I do share quite a lot about raw food because this is it's just filled with the life force energy, just eating fruit and vegetables that are uncooked. And the more you charge yourself and fill yourself with light, you literally are a light being. You're an electromagnetic being, so you can amplify and strengthen your aura and your awareness and your clarity, especially just not eating animal products, because animal products, they've all been brought through suffering and pain, and it's just not the energy you want to consume. But in the Essene Gospel's Peace, it says that allow the angel of the air to nourish the seeds of like the crops, and allow the angels of the sun to bliss the crops with its light, and allow the angels of the water to bliss the seeds. And it talks about sprouting seeds, but using the light or the angels of the different elements to birth a life into the seed, and it becomes a sprout or like a plant. And it's like these seeds, the plants, they're filled with the life force energy of like the angels of the heavens. And it was a really beautiful way I found to describe it. I don't know if you had anything you wanted to share as well.
Yes, yes, it's so beautiful. The way that you can visualize like vegetables and fruits, my favorites are fruits. I eat a lot of smoothies. Um, is that there are the seed of Eden. So interesting enough, we have you know, the Reseeding Eden show. So in order to reseed Eden within you, like the original crystalline blueprint of Gaia, you need to eat the food that she grows within her. So you could see it like raindrops of celestial light that come into our realm from the celestial, from the sun, from, you know, why it needs all the water and all that. And then that little raindrop, that drop of light of the sun, the moon, right, grows in from the ether, which is the soil, grows in the food. So it's the purest food that you can have. If you know, I to teach not to eat animal products because it makes you instantly too heavy. And then you're like, why can't I get my answers? Why can't I do this? It's just, you need to be a lighter body, you know, carrying energy in your body as light as possible so that you can then connect to at a highest vibration where, you know, because you're eating the, you know, again, the light straight from the soil that was grown from the celestial light.
Mm-hmm. And when you do eat animal products, the consciousness of the animal can still be tethered to the meat in its vessel. So when that's in your system, you could have the energies or consciousness of other beings or the souls in your field. And then you're like, why am I getting these emotions? Why am I feeling this way? Why am I reacting these ways? Why am I like, why have I got a clouded, confused mind? Because you literally got other entities or energies in your field. And so plants are like already energetically, spiritually so connected to like the spiritual planes, the ether, like they exist in that kind of realm, and they can be bridges into the spiritual plane. So when we consume them, it's almost like we've literally just consumed the light and the energy to channel us into the spiritual planes. They've bridged us in, so you can access and tap into your own gifts and awareness a lot easier when you do consume the lightful foods, the less dense foods like the plants.
Yes.
Shall I ask the next question?
Yeah.
Yeah. Charlie Kirk's death was so impactful for America. How do you feel it will ripple out to Europe and Asia?
I mean, it's not just America. I mean, everyone is saying, right, they're the next Charlie Kirk. Not everyone, but a good portion, right? All over. even down to Asia, to Japan. I saw videos in Japan, South Korea. I saw some in UK, in Africa. Everyone, especially if you're Christians, because he was Christian, they're really kind of impacted by that. And I am not in alignment with any kind of religion because I do feel it's man-made, and that's what we've been told over and over. It's a man who wrote down these different rules. And it's the root cause to every single war. However, I am so thankful of the Christians on earth because they do feel like the lightest as possible religion out there, at least that doesn't violate children and married, 8-year-old little girls and so on and stuff like that, that we know the Islamic does, and not everyone does, but a good amount of them do, so at least we have one that has the highest morals. So I am thankful for those, that everything that he brought, and the ways Christians are a very powerful light. I always teach, like, everybody's light is important, even the ones that we think are asleep. They don't need to be watching these videos that we're doing right now, or going to UFO conferences that might compromise them. They don't need to be doing all that. Actually, they might be a higher vibrational light than someone who does go to these UFO conferences and is getting abducted by aliens. They probably are a higher vibrational light than them. So because everyone's light counts, and what's important is that we're being the purest in the love light, then so the collective of Christians who are being positive and are not harming the world would be a very strong collective group. And I've been in future timelines where I've seen like these future Earths where there's inverted timelines, and like the last remaining group are the Christians, interesting enough. And they're, like the movies like Terminator and like, they're the Matrix are going underground. Like the Christians are believing that still to that day that the Yeshua can save them, but Yeshua taught you that you can save yourself, but they're holding on to that love that is, really fighting these artificial things.
Can I ask you something completely unrelated, but do you believe in this? Because I'm still trying to suss out whether this is 100% true or not. It's like we literally experience our own like individual reality and timeline. So if I want to ascend, I can literally choose whatever timeline I want, and I can shift my internal world, and the external world will always shift, and even everyone around me will shift into how I want them. That's the timeline I want them, that I want this person to like be kind to me, and so I have these beliefs and I heal myself, and then suddenly I'm in a timeline where they are kind to me because that's what I want? Or is it like we're all still in the collective where like we're all sharing a timeline together, so maybe someone will never be kind to you even if you want them to be, because we co-create, as opposed to you literally can create your very own timeline and world, and that's it?
I say yes to both, but more so of the second, because you're creating your experience, they're creating their experience. You can shift them with your first option into a higher. I've seen people and I've heard clients who said, my husband was like this, and all of a sudden one day he woke up and he was different. He had shifted into a higher orbited self of himself.
Yeah.
Like it's still them, but they're different. They've woken up. And at that point, they Mandela in. They've Mandela in a different version of themselves that is higher, because you're holding such a strong love light in your time space that they have no choice. If they're going to stay with you and within the reality that you're creating for you, and the highest vibrational love light, they're going to have to orbit into a higher self of them, like a higher version of them. But then there's also, there's children and young adults who still need to go through the lessons like we did, who are going to go through those within, their higher self safety. It's and they're creating their own life because they need to go, like their own karma, learn their own lessons. Even though you might know all the answers for them, they still have to go through it so that they can then, orbit higher to where you're at a wiser self.
Very interesting. So the next question was, in fact, we've just done that one. Let me just. So we had some comments as well. One of them was Voluvia, I'm very excited for this one, which I think was one of the rumbles. Another comment, I've been learning how to meditate and bring in light into the spot of Brahman, very extremely powerful. Something actually someone asked a while ago, they said that their child has been saying that a blue being has been coming into their bedroom and they wake up with scratches. So like could that possibly be negative? Because I don't know a load about the other races because I've always been a bit put off of. I'd rather just work with the angels who I know are all 100% love light. So I've always avoided really getting to know the races that much other than just a few. So I always assumed the blue beings were probably like Pleiadian or like avian or some kind of that were known to be mostly positive polarized. So why can you get negative beings from all species, and would they be a negative experience if they're waking up with scratches or what?
So I guess it depends on the child and what they're going through. Scratches can be sometimes if it's like a demon or entity messing with them. Hopefully not. But sometimes like, kind of like a cat, when you're playing with a cat, they scratch you. So that could be like maybe they have a baby dragon that, accidentally kind of scratched them, or not accidentally, but like playing with them, it kind of rippled to this time space where these do see a scratch. So hopefully it's one where they're playing with dragons that have sharp, claws in the ether. Hopefully not, but I mean, I've heard of both. Yeah.
And I'm sure that negative beings could disguise themselves as like a Pleiadian that's meant to look like they can disguise themselves to look certain ways, so you think it's an angel or you think it's a Pleiadian. They've literally just got a disguise on.
Exactly. So I love what Aura always says. Actually, we work with the angels because they are the purest of love light. Factually, like their story is their source that birth out, the very first source beings that birth out of source. So their source in embodiment in the universe and multiverse. So you're talking to the purest souls, and that's why they could go into multiverses and different verses. Other beings cannot do that. Only the archangels can do that, go into it from one verse to the other to assist you in whatever is going on, especially in the past life regression work. We see that, right? So, higher self, the angels, benevolent beings.
Yeah.
And yeah.
They do say as well, there's something like the law of three. If you like command or ask something 3 times, then they have to like obey by that law. So perhaps you could, if you had a being visit you, you could probably say, show me your true self instantly, show me your true self instantly, show me your true self instantly. And then they have to show them true selves, and hopefully it is still an angel. And then if it's not, at least that's the way you can make sure that you know who it is.
Yes. Someone said demons can shapeshift. They can shapeshift. They can pretend and be like, oh yeah, I'm Yeshua. I'm Yeshua. And it's like, but something that I teach in my teachings is that they have to say who they are 3 times in a row. Like, I am Yeshua, son of Mary. I am Yeshua, son of Mary. I am Yeshua, son of Mary. Which that's the course we're open enrollment right now. Isis priest course is for divine feminine and masculine. Back when we were in the temples and we're walking around with our scrolls and our alchemy, and it was such a cool time when it was benevolent. So we teach that. So with that, you learn how to ask 3 times. A mischievous entity that is not a vibratory match to love light will not be able to keep up their light 3 times. It's not possible for them within the sacred law of 3.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Other comments that we had?
Yeah.
Did you want to say something or?
Yeah. Let's see. Also, back to the cat, like that's such a cool cat. The one you showed.
Yeah.
Did you know some cats, how some people, sometimes you find cats in the tree? It's not so much because they climbed it. It's because they portaled it in through the tree. One of the only animals to come into Earth that can portal in through a tree. I have a cat that did that. One day I was walking my dog in a nightly walk. Tiny little kitten, just a couple weeks old, technically. Found him in a tree. And then when I asked the angels, like, how did he get in the tree and where was this? It's like so random, it's like, where is his parents and so on. And then they showed me literally in a dream the cat like fell from the heavens, portaled
Wow.
in into the tree, boop, teleported into the tree, and there he was like meow meow, and we're like climbing the tree to get the kitty. You know,
So that's the cat distribution system then.
for sure, for sure.
Yeah. Because people always say like cats just turn up out of nowhere and they're like, I have no idea like where you come from, but somehow you're meant for me.
Exactly. They teleported from the heavens for them.
Yeah.
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 Other comments. So someone said, that's like that one kid over in Russia. That kid could levitate and see things that other people couldn't. I think when we're talking about the children with their gifts. Comment during the twin flame discussion, someone said that was your initial thought as well. Someone says, thank you, Aurora, for all that you are doing. I love you and Aura and the show. I love how the hearts of the two worlds are touching. Someone said, that's beautiful, eating food from Eden. And I actually think that the food used to be massive as well. I think the fruit used to be giant. And
Yes.
like perhaps you could just literally eat an apple like all week or something. They were just like big giant fruits because the trees were bigger as well. We were bigger as well, and like everything was bigger.
So you think like you self, like Hobbit self, was like eating apple for like a week?
Possibly.
I agree with you. But then also there was Titans, right, and giants.
Yeah.
I mean, wow, that'd be really good.
I would love that. Like, let's get the giant fruit back.
That would be so cool.
And what could bring it back as well is like different types of radiation. I know that radiation is meant to be negative, but you can get certain natural radiation that comes from certain stones and rocks and stuff. And I feel it's a similar thing to Mercury, where with the Mercury, what you were saying, you're not meant to eat these heavy metals. You're meant to work with the light. So there's a difference between putting it in your actual system. That's damaging when you've got heavy metals in your system. But if you just work with the light, it's different. And so with say these natural crystals that radiate some kind of like a frequency, yeah, you're not meant to probably consume things that are poisonous, but if you just use the energy, it's got a different effect. And I think about, and I know it sounds really bad, but with the nuclear weapons and when there was like fruit or food growing that was abnormal in size because of when the nuclear bomb was dropped. I think it was in Japan. It was a nuclear power plant exploded somewhere, Chernobyl it was, and supposedly all the food that was growing around would grow in an abnormal way. And I feel like there's something to do with people say that maybe nuclear is actually like nuclear. It's almost like a wave of energy or radiation that could actually give you a DNA upgrade if you were aligned or healthy enough, and if you weren't, it could go the opposite way. And I wonder whether if anything like that happened in the future, it would create these giant fruits again, these overly grown plants and stuff.
Yeah, I think it definitely could happen. Yeah, there's natural. I love everything you said. I agree with it.
Next was, someone said, yes, I watched your live where you touched base on this, your Philadelphia experiment.
Yeah.
Someone said they heard someone say that Charlie Kirk was a blood sacrifice and the darker ones killed him over ley lines to cause pain and suffering to the earth.
I think that's their intention. Their intention, but it backfired on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I found really interesting as well is obviously we both, and you more than me, have like vouched for Donald Trump before he came into presidency, and there's some things that it's really difficult where you're like, why are you saying these things? Like, why are you doing these things? It can be really hard to like not question things. But with the whole building the new ballroom or something, one thing I've heard, and I don't know if it's true or not, but I was telling you in the last episode that in the UK, the Houses of Parliament is built on a pentagram, and they use that holy geometry to invert it and to send the black magic through the land. They create the laws and they use it with magic to try and make them like make the laws as spells, so people abide by them, and if not, they're under a spell and they get caught and they go to prison, and it's like this whole matrix inverted system ran by magic. They were saying that the White House is also built on like an inverted pentagram, and that when he's extending and rebuilding this ballroom, it's creating an energetic block to block the pentagram so that the curse is broken and the spell can't. Like, it's almost like destroyed the holy geometric shape, the inverted one that was allowing for them to use black magic there. And so it's now created a block and is using Tesla technology to stop and block that negative curse now.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of the work that he's doing in his world is more 3D, right? But in our world, they look at breaking curses.
Yeah.
Even down to all those things that he signed. What are those called? I forget now what they're called.
Executive orders.
Yes, thank you. Executive orders. It's breaking curses.
Yeah.
And if we assist with love, we can assist to break that curse.
Yeah.
So I feel like, I don't know, when you were talking about, I was seeing like bodies in the walls.
Possibly.
Something. Like bodies under. Like, the way these Dark Lords and the Dark Lords that, came before him, the way they do it is that they take the bodies, kill them, and then they put them in the walls. How many times? I mean, you've seen that, like, I went to the UK and we were walking down the church, and then the whole bottom floor is made, they say it's factually, like, dead bodies, it says, and they have, like, a square per dead body that you're walking on in the church. It's insane.
Yeah. Well, and it reminds me as well, because they might be either on a subconscious level with the higher self, or maybe even consciously, they might be fully initiated into like magic, and we don't even know that they know all this. But one of the things that I found particularly interesting was when J.D. Vance visited the Pope or something in Vatican. He shook his hand, and then the next day he died. And I don't mean to laugh, but like it's like a curse, or he put some kind of magic on him to again serve the light in some way, whether they even know they're doing it or not. And someone in the go on.
It was an interesting video that I saw too, because when you looked at the Pope, he looked like he was looking at death. Like he looked like he was scared of J.D. Vance, which I personally really thought that was a really important moment, because you could see that he was fearful of what was coming for him, which would tell you that there's some kind of positivity happening there, because we already know that the popes are pedos, what they're doing with the children, and that's very interesting.
It is. Let's see what else we had. Questions. Oh, we've missed quite a few questions here. So truth. Someone said, if mercury mirrors amplify energy, what about regular mirrors today? I think that the regular mirrors, they were then backed by silver, and now I think they're just backed by steel or something. I don't really know what they are. Steel is still one of the magic metals. It's the metal of Mars, which is a masculine energy, but it's not as amplifying it as mercury is. Silver, it would go in terms of like how amplifying it is, it would probably go like silver and mercury are quite similar, and then steel would be lower. It wouldn't amplify your light as much. So perhaps with Aurora saying that they needed that higher light, nowadays they need a mirror that's less lightful, more dense almost, so that we can actually use them properly and experience what a mirror brings to us because of our own density at the minute.
Yes. So the metals that they're using, I can't remember what metals it is either, but I know that it is exactly what Aura said, is denser. Now, the way that they use mirrors in the physical is when they break down this metal and then they make it into a solid bright mirror, it's compromising. And what happens is that people technically, like, people who use dark magic, they use mirrors to look through. So it's the artificial archon, like the whole looking glass technology. It looks through mirrors. So whatever form that they're using to make these three-dimensional mirrors versus the higher vibrational mercury mirrors, it's allowing for them to peek into your space, like you can't see them behind the mirror, but they're behind there. And so it's like dark portals. So we teach to only love light.
Keep them out of your bedroom. And also, I was just thinking, because they're made of glass, which is made of sand, I think, and sand is obviously made of crystals and stuff. So you could probably program the mirror to just not be, to basically not allow it to be a portal, really.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, and people are talking about like obsidian. Yeah, usually more natural base. Yeah.
So next question is there such thing as a catalyst soul before you meet your twin?
Yes, I think you can have multiple twin flames that play different roles. The way that you could kind of like visualize sometimes is like, it could be multiple twin flames, but it also could be like maybe you had a lot of ex-husbands in past lives, Those ex-husbands are going to come back eventually, believe it or not. And they're going to come back as boyfriends and so on, or they might turn into ex-husbands. So what you need to actually do is actually balance out the karma with them. And that's why they come up. And then that sets you up. When the more you balance out with all these, ex-boyfriends and ex-husbands, you balance out that karma, then it sets you up for the higher vibrational, true, say, twin flame or soulmate to be with. What do you think, Cora?
I totally agree with everything you said. Someone asked as well, will there be an epic war between dark and the light, like in the Lord of the Rings in the astral?
There is technically in the astral this kind of thing going on. Sometimes, like when you are interacting with someone, you ever feel like a dark energy kind of pushing at you, or you start feeling weird, or you start sneezing, or you start feeling pressure in your third eye. There's some kind of like basically psychic energetic interaction you're having with that person that's having you have these reactions that you feel uncomfortable around them. So in a sense, if you were to look at that with your third eye, you could be battling it out with their demons or entities. It's just a thing. Not everybody means love for you, and not every hopefully people don't mean ill intent, but not often do they. And then that becomes kind of like a battle with them energetically, astrally, until they get out of your space, or but again, like Aura's discussed, if you set up your shields every day and you say you don't consent to these dark ill intents, then they don't have power in your energetic field. You might still feel them, but then you have to remember that also, like, you'll feel them, but they can't mess with you because you're not a vibratory match. It's like a negative and a positive, like a magnet, right? They can't touch. Like opposing magnets, they can't touch.
Yeah.
Because they will repel. So that's what, if you set up those intentions with love light, they won't be a vibratory match to you.
When people say that the light's already won and we're just literally watching it all like mandala out now, is that true, or do you think they're just saying that so that just to manifest a good timeline for everyone?
Yeah, like so say that again. Like they say what?
Sometimes people say, it's a battle of like good versus evil, but the light's already won. We're just literally waiting to see it all manifest out. Now, would you say that is correct, or do you think they're just saying that to try and put positive, like a manifestation out there of a good timeline?
Yeah, so that's correct. The light has won in the future, but when people say that, is that they're trying to make you submissive. So yes, it's won. You cannot be submissive. You have to stand strongly in your not consenting love light. When you're like, oh, whatever I do, whatever the light. No, they need your higher self, and you signed up for this mission. You are going to be actively countering and transmuting and cleansing and healing timelines. That's why you're here. But all the indoctrination of everything in spirituality, any kind of community, that tells you that it's, So that is inverted. That's an inverted way to tell you the truth. That's the thing, right? With the Archon artificial intelligence that we teach, they tell you the truth. It tells you the truth, but it's mixed in with poison.
Yeah. It's basically the light has won, as long as you carry on doing what you're meant to be doing, and like, so it's like it's relying on us all to carry on as we are, as opposed to just, we can all chill now and put our guard down, because the light's won, we can all just sit on the sofa and watch movies now and just forget everything. Like, it's like that would make us start spiraling down really fast. So someone said demons can shapeshift, which you did actually answer that. Yes, they can. And we also have, someone asked, do you think we're biocomputers with codes? Just like organic computers, really, with codes.
Yes, there's so let's talk about like language. So a lot of the English language is kind of backwards, at least for our English language. What dark lords that are like, they claim, sometimes people claim that they're light workers and shamans and whatever. They claim they're light workers, but they're not, or you hear like dark language, and that's a whole nother story. They call it light language, but you don't know what they're saying. So what people do is, through this quote unquote say light language, would be like your answer, like symbols. They take and they reverse it. When you take a language and you reverse it, then you invert it. So the mirror, the opposite of it, it makes it inverted. So then, that could be a way that they're using, a way to make inverted, say, like geometry, you're saying? Yeah, they take the sacred alchemy and they invert it. Like, the pentagram, they turn it, to the side to invert it, but it's really a positive. The 5-pointed pentagram is Gaia's star, and they invert it, and that's how they turn it. They turn it upside down, or they turn it sideways to invert, to activate it, not activate, I don't like the word for this, but to basically compromise the elements that whatever that they're using. So they're creating an opposite to what's benevolent to infringe upon it.
Someone's asking, what does a large flock of birds mean?
Large flock of birds. That's interesting. So I was channeling the Mayan goddess Tonantzin, which is La Virgen de Guadalupe in Spanish. Goddess Ixtel, Mayan goddess, and she was showing me like hawks flying, and she showed me they're not really hawks. She says they're griffins. I was like, of course they are. How did I not know that? So know that the animals you're looking, just like Aura showed us, that cat is something else that we just cannot see in crystalline energetic form. So a big flock of birds could be griffins, could be dragons, because factually, we talked about in the previous videos, dragons are the dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are the dragons. They show you like, their fossils and stuff, and they say, well, this one had little arms and so on. They made the fake arms. There's no dragon that had little tiny arms. It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. They took, their arms were their wings. They took, where's the wings? Where's the T-Rex wings at? Yeah. And why you put little tiny arms on them? This is so ridiculous. Anyways, so yeah. I forgot the question.
It was flock of birds.
The flock of birds, yeah. It could be, yeah. So birds are descendants of dragons. It's dragons. Yeah. Especially in high amount, it's most likely magical creatures. You can't see them in physical form because they're technically 5D and higher. So how could you see them in physical form? So the only way you could see them is through the animals, or you could also see them in the clouds. When you do see a figure of a dragon, a cloud, that's an actual dragon. You're just seeing their essence in the physical through the cloud.
And you even spoke about it in the last call, or in fact, it was probably our first live we did together, where you were saying that animals can even project themselves, like on the spiritual planes, like it's a horse, but it's actually a unicorn, or it's like a cat, but it's actually like they can become or be whoever they want to be in the astral. And I've seen like animals playing with each other in the astral when in physical they're just sleeping and they look like they aren't doing much, but they exist so much more in the energetic realms than we do, which is really cool.
We all went through a digression, all of us humans. All right, our skin used to glow. We had, we look like gorgeous elvins like Lord of the Rings, right? I mean, we're still gorgeous, but I mean, we're even more gorgeous. So did the animals digress. So what I was showing is like you went from a 5D to a 4D to a 3D. When that happened, so all the animals are magical creatures. We've always taught that from the beginning. All the animals are magical creatures. So it was like a vibration that happened to them, and then they digress, and then they kind of like the magic kind of went away from them. And yes, a unicorn turned into a horse.
And there are, I don't really want to put this out there, or we can cancel and delete it after, but people have shared rumors that the deletes have consumed like unicorn and mermaids and stuff. That they used to actually consume these beings.
They do that.
To try and integrate their magic and their capabilities and stuff.
See, so they know mermaids and so on, or dragons are real. Mm-hmm. So they programmed us to believe that they're not real while they are eating off or feeding off whatever, that they could get their hands on them, especially the mermaids.
So someone says, can you speak about your higher self? I think maybe asking like what is the higher self, or kind of like what does that mean, maybe?
Yeah, I think so. More, you want to answer that? Like, what do you think?
Yeah, like I assumed that the higher self is almost your original like almost like when you were first created, that is your higher self, and then the higher self splits itself into smaller pieces to then incarnate into different lives and experiences. But it's almost like you're the accumulation of all that is you, really, in its like highest, most ascended form, because it never really descended. It always stayed where it was created, and we're just smaller fragments or expressions of the higher self. That was my guess. And that's how I've just visualized the higher self throughout my journeys, but I don't know if you had any more that you could share.
Yeah, that's exactly how I was shown too. The higher self is basically like your soul, and then that higher self creates little mini-me's, which are you. You come in all sorts of shapes and colors, and even dragons and animals. You are many fractals of you, not just a human. And there's just many expressions. An expression that is infinite, which is the higher self, expressing itself through different forms.
And really, everyone's ultimate higher self would be the creator.
Yes.
We all come from the creator. Someone's asking, is normal Reiki unsafe? Because I've heard in the past people share stories that
you come in all sorts of shapes.
It's all right. People have said that the Reiki symbols came from a demon, and it was a demon that taught the person who learned Reiki these symbols. And so there was this, I saw people online sharing, don't trust the Reiki symbols, it's demonic. And so someone's asking, is normal Reiki unsafe? So do you want to clear up or like share your wisdom on that one?
Yeah, so all the clients I talk to, right, the thousands of them, their higher self sometimes do say that some Reiki, is negative. There's both. It tends to be, at least with the stories that I hear, tends to be the majority, like because of how much entities people have on them and dark portals and attachments. So yeah, just like we were talking about the language, how that could be inverted. Reiki and other supposed healing modalities can be inverted. And the first thing you always want to ask is, what kind of intentions do you set that you're only talking to benevolence and source love light, the real love light? And I will tell you, I have students that come to me who are learning, say, the raw Reiki that we teach, and they're like, wow, they're upset. They're like, how could I have learned like 10 other modalities? No one ever taught me to set intentions of only love light. and they're like, I have been infringing on people, and other people are infringing on people. So it is a simple science. You set up a energetic field that is only pure love light, and what happens is that's all that will filter through, like a water filter. Yeah. So yes, they can be inverted sometimes. Yeah.
1,000%. And I would also advise anyone, if you were looking to have to find a healer, just because someone does Reiki doesn't mean that they've got good energy. Just because someone's sharing spiritual truths online doesn't mean that they've got good energy. And this is why I'm really disciplined with trying to keep my energy clean all the time. I'm always on top of it. I'm always trying to be aware of it. I'm always doing spiritual practices to just maintain a good energy. That's why the spiritual practices exist mostly, is so that you've got these tools to help you get rid of any negativity. But there are some people they are aware spiritually, they have a lot of knowledge or information, but they don't actually live a lifestyle that puts it into practice. And so they can have a crap energy. They can be consuming food that's got horrible like curses or spells or like negative energies attached to it. They can be watching videos, or you can pick up negative energy anywhere. And if you're not aware of it and you're not living a life that's constantly on keeping on top of it, you don't want to be having someone touching you for an hour doing Reiki, exchanging energy. You end up coming out worse than you left off. So this is why I was saying I pick my teachers really wisely, because when you allow yourself to open up to being a student of someone, you're allowing their wisdom and their knowledge and their light you allow it in. Basically, you receive it and you receive the information, you integrate it within your psyche so you can expand and grow. So you don't want that light contaminated with crap. You want it with people who've got good energy themselves, someone that you can expand and learn from and grow from, and they will help you ascend up rather than someone that's going to be bringing you down.
Yeah, because what I often hear from clients, like, what if you're a higher vibratory match than the person who's channeling energy to you?
Yeah.
What if your love light is higher? They're going to be, and it's kind of yucky. Like, what are they channeling into you if they're not setting clear intentions of only love light, right? They could be channeling their issues, their darkness, their entities right onto you, and you're consenting to it to be, attached to you.
Yeah. And your little pup just made it. Your pup was like, share this information, Aura. And I could hear in my mind it basically that to remind people as well that everything's an energetic exchange, especially when you include physical touch. And that's also with your animals and your pets. So they love us so much and they want to support us. They want to support us even emotionally through things that are tough to go through. But always be aware that if you've got a lot of like sadness or pain or negative energy, you've picked up stuff and you've not cleared yourself, and then you go and cuddle your pets, it could then go on to the pets. And as long as the pets do go outside, they're fine, because they can ground themselves, they can reset their energy themselves, they're quite aware like that. But if they don't go outside often, or if you really you've got a lot of bad energy and you're struggling through it or whatever, it's good to start learning these techniques and how you can dissolve it yourself or how you can transmute it yourself, so that you're not kind of being an emotional dumping ground for your pets.
Yeah, that's true. You're exhausting to take care of. They have to take lots of naps.
Someone said, do you think that when an entity attaches to someone, it's possible it will prevent them in getting clear?
Yeah. Say that again?
Do you think that when an entity attaches to someone, is it possible it will prevent them in getting clear?
Yeah. Yeah, because you're not basically at your highest love light, and they are also, think about an entity that's attached. It's kind of yucky because your spirit, their spirit, and they're a disembodied entity, right? And they're on the ride, hitchhiking on you, right? Like a parasite. So what is that entity? What is it? And what kind of karma does it have? And it's attached to you, so it's kind of integrated into you. So then it's going to be affecting your emotions, your decisions, maybe to some of what they lived through. If they're a child that was killed in the forest and left there, and you're walking in the forest and attached to you because they want to help. That happens a lot more than you realize, actually. And you know, maybe you'll all of a sudden start becoming very emotional for no reason, or you'll become sad, or you'll feel like no one loves you, or you'll feel abandoned because this entity had those emotions that didn't clear, and now it's become kind of one with you but just attached, right?
It is very easy as well when you get external influence, like even just emotional energy, but it's something you picked up. It doesn't always have to be coming from an attachment. It can be that your friend's upset about something and you've just picked up some of their sadness. But it can really feel like your own. It can actually genuinely, like your mind starts to go, I feel like I've got sad energy in me. Why do I feel sad? And then your mind always is trying to rationalize things. So your mind goes, well, you're sad because you're single, you're sad because you're lonely. And then you accept that sadness as, oh, this is my sadness. But this is another reason why I like to teach about finding that internal balance, even hormonally and chemically, which is obviously a big part of what you eat. Food is mood. Because if you know that most of the time you are quite balanced, even emotionally, then it's easier to go, this isn't mine. But if you are always up and down in your mood swings, it's more difficult to recognize whether it's coming from you or someone else.
Yes. Especially if you're like really empathic, which all of us really are.
Yeah.
Some of us are more empathic than others, but you will have a hard time telling whose thoughts are whose. And so then what we teach is for you to, in your force fields or your intentions, is that you make it very, very clear. We have like this goddess star that we use that the Divine Mother gave us. And it basically keeps out any of the false information, or also, most importantly, it keeps you sovereignly to yourself. So that if anyone else who is a friend, a family, who are technically in the quantum, maybe they live with you and so on, right? Energetically, that they won't affect you, and you could tell, okay, that's their thoughts, not mine.
Yeah.
If you keep that energy field out of you.
Someone said, I think this is when you were talking about the holy geometry and how it gets inverted, and when someone had asked about are we biocomputers with codes, is what they'd asked. Yeah. I cancel and delete any negative spells I've spelled during this call, but they said, do you think these are the coded to Adam and Eve?
Like the positive light codes inside of us?
Is what I'm assuming.
Yeah, so the positive light codes, so we're all made out. So the way you're created is through sacred geometry, sound, crystal, energy, you know, all of these components come together. You're even a math, you know, equation. Just constantly, you know, adding on more and more equations to the you know, solution. So you would be and have the sacred geometry within you. So then that's why you want to guard it and protect it, like, you know, your blood, your DNA, or overall. I hear people that say like, oh, I offer DNA activations and come and I'll activate your DNA for you. Hold on. Wait a minute. You're letting them into your DNA, which is the most precious and makes up all of you. No one man or woman has power to activate your DNA but you and your higher self. And that is one ego, and they would be working with a negative alien or entity that's telling them that they can do this so that they could get into your DNA and then affect it. So yeah, in that version, they could be affecting the you know, the sacred geometry that makes you up and putting some, you know, dark energy or whatever they want to attach into it, because you're letting them into your DNA.
Have you heard some people say in dream time, like, don't ever eat or drink anything because it could be a negative curse or whatever? Do you think that is true, or does it depend on the circumstance if you're around people and if someone's handed it you compared to if you've just created that food and drink yourself?
Like in dream time? Well, I guess it depends if the person's positive, the entity, whoever you're talking to, is positive or negative.
Yeah.
I mean, because Divine Mother could give you something that would be like a serum that could heal you, that could level you up, you know. But yeah, you have to be very cautious in dream time if someone that is dark, that is telling you to intake something, because the easiest way to infringe upon you is by food, or whether it's an energetic or physical food, is going to automatically affect you because you've taken it in. It's in, and now it's merging in, and so yeah, that can happen.
And also, when you When you're doing healing work energetically, is it possible for you to pick up the energy of like the illness or disease they've got and actually manifest that within yourself?
Mm, not if you're shielded with love light properly. I
Hmm.
have met healers and practitioners from other healing modalities where like they were practicing like this well-known, say, hypnosis modality, and this modality doesn't believe in entities, so they don't teach the practitioner that they have to shield themselves or barely even kind of call for some kind of shielding for the client. So then what happened is that they were a nest of millions of entities. This person like started like turning green like a reptilian because they had so many reptilians attached to them, like reptilian pieces attached to them. Their skin started turning green and scaly in front of us. And they even saw it and they were freaking out because they were practicing this modality. Then they figured out that they probably should be shielding before they start interacting energetically with other people, because it's like having unprotected sex.
Yeah.
Which is yucky.
Someone asked about how can I protect my dreams from interference. We've got a few more questions. I feel like we did answer that earlier.
Yeah.
We were talking about really just doing shields and
I think we're good. And then if we also have other questions, we could also always answer them next time too.
Yeah. Well, whatever you
yeah.
We've got like, let me just skim through and see. Let's just put a cap on it and just say these ones we've got here. We'll just finish. There's 4 questions in total, and then we'll anything else that comes in. So someone said, what do owls mean? There's an owl that shows up at their house.
Yeah, not sure why I'm not seeing the questions.
If you scroll down,
at least you're seeing them.
Yeah, scroll down.
Okay.
I'm crossing them out as we go through.
Oh, and the dock. Oh, I see them now.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I was at the top. Owls. I mean, it could mean so much. Oof. Well, owls are basically the birds of the night. They're the only birds that are brave enough to soar in the skies, right? In the night. So it would be a very powerful animal spirit, animal totem that's telling you to do whatever's going on with you, to prevail, that you can prevail through any, say, darkness or whatever, that you are being guided. And even the owl, how it turns its head, like it could turn 360 degrees. You can see all perspectives. I could go on. It's a lot, and it really just kind of depends on what's happening in your life, right?
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Do you love owls, Gab? Or do you like owls?
I do. I think they're beautiful. I don't like that they tear up and eat like baby mammals and stuff.
Yeah.
I'd prefer them to be vegan, but so someone has asked, do the dragon bones held in the museums around the world need our assistance to help free them?
They do, because a lot of them, you see them like in Smithsonian's or museums, or like, these Masonic buildings and so on. And what they're doing is that they know it's a dragon, and they're using the power of the bones of that dragon, instead of claiming it's a dinosaur, to power up their inversions.
Wow.
It's a blood magic kind of, because the bones hold the blueprint, right? Like the DNA of that dragon.
Also, like we were talking about earlier, how the soul can still be tethered to the vessel if the vessel hasn't been like cremated or burnt or whatever, is if you ever go into museums and see stuffed animals, like real animals that have been stuffed, taxidermy type stuff, they might need freeing as well. There might be a lot of souls still attached to those beings. So try and do some scanning, do some energy work and send them love, and ask the angels to help them cross over and transition to, I always say, to the highest planes. Let them go. I'm like, just let them go straight up to the highest plane and just not have to come and suffer on earth again. But obviously their higher self will guide them. Dragons, someone's asked, did dragons sexually involve with humans in the past?
Sexually? Is that what they said?
Yeah.
No, that's not possible.
No.
They're 5D. That's not a thing.
Yeah. The last thing was, does dyeing your hair affect you spiritually? Which yeah. Your hair it's literally like your antenna, really. It's literally coming directly from your crown. The word dyeing, to dye your hair, is just killing it, isn't it? But I do. I still do. But I do think that if you were to keep your skin, your hair as natural as possible, I feel like it would always benefit you more than doing other putting things on your skin and putting things on your hair. But half of me is aware of like the magic of the way you present yourself and how people project onto you. If you look like a scruffy pup and you look like you don't have your life together, they might less likely want to trust you and listen to you as a spiritual teacher. Whereas if you at least look like you can get a shower and stuff, it's different. So there is an element of being aware that people still have stereotypes, and you almost have to play the game a bit at the same time, I feel.
You do. Yeah.
That's the last question.
Awesome.
It's been so fun chatting to you again. We've really gone on terrain, and it's always a breeze talking to you. It's just always effortless, and I appreciate you sharing all the wisdom so much. It's been so fun.
Same for you. It's such an honor. Thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you, Aura. You are incredible. It's cool. Keep healing the worlds, within the worlds. I love you, honor you, respect you. Thank you, everyone. Go check out. I know, Aura, you also offer some courses and
courses, sessions, and the book club as well, starting on this Thursday at the Great Light Garden. And I'm currently building more content into my Return to Eden journey as well. So that's going to launch after the new year. And it's really just focusing on how to live a more lightful life, touching on different aspects of a lightful life, like eating healthier, like how to protect yourself magically, like how to rewrite your story and rewrite the words that you're using and your mindset and stuff. So that's going to be really exciting as well, guys. I'll share more about it later on in the year.
Yes, beautiful. And you could go to my website, risingphoenixaura.com and aurapractitioners.com to find out more information of all the sessions and courses I offer. Right? Thank you, everyone, for being you and for being a vibratory match to listen to this. And thank you for being on Earth. See you next time.
Thanks, guys. See ya.